Hello, hello everyone! Happy Monday! It is Monday, and we have a very special guest coming on today. We have a good friend of mine, her name is Ariel, hopping on. So we're gonna get her in the chat. And we'll have her hop on in just a second. As usual, we got Doug in the background, so if you hear some background noise, that is what's going on here. Hello!
Hello!
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited.
Me too. I've been looking forward to this all morning.
I know. So for anyone who's tuning in from my audience, this is my friend Ariel. We're in the same mentorship group through Rachel Peterson, and she has a pretty different journey with social media. You're a pilot, right?
Mm-hmm. My
Yeah,
husband
she's
is
a
too.
pilot. So yeah, this is Ariel, and I'm so excited for you guys to meet her. So today, one of the things that I'd like to talk about is like Facebook ads, because you're like a Facebook ads whiz. So if you want to chat a little bit about like how you got started with your business and like kind of how you went from pilot to social media stuff.
Yeah, perfect. So I think I'll kind of start out with my journey and kind of how I got here, and I think that'll kind of help everyone understand a little bit of context. So I got back into social media way back in 2017, actually, when I was in high school. Um, I don't know if there's any like marketing gurus that are watching, but there's a big name called Ty Lopez, and Ty Lopez released a viral YouTube video called Here in My Garage in 2017. And he was kind of the forefront of social media marketing and Facebook ads at the time. And so my friend and I actually bought his course like way back when we were seniors in high school. We had no idea what we were doing. It was so much fun and just information overload. And it kind of always stuck with me. I actually went to college and I was pre-med for most of it because I thought I wanted to either go to medical school or go to PA school. But then I went to Argentina. I did kind of a service mission there and just took some time off and just kind of thought about life and you guys, the marketing and business just never left me. Like I think it was always, inside of me. And I reconsidered things and I ended up wanting to start a social media marketing business. So fast forward a little bit more in 2020, I met my now husband, who is an international cargo pilot. So he flies all over the world, who is very, 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 very passionate about planes and about aviation. And so when I met him, I kind of thought that there is a need for a lot of aviation companies to get on social media. And I saw that many of them were not on social media, not using Facebook ads. And some of them didn't even have any social media accounts.
Wow.
So I knew there was a massive need in the industry for someone to come and help these businesses like get visible. And so that's kind of what I did is I based my original business around helping aviation companies get visible online and advertise themselves on social media. Did that for a couple of years and I still work with aviation businesses today, but since then I've kind of branched out and have been really kind of diving deep into Facebook ads and organic Instagram growth in the last year or so. So that's kind of my journey.
That's awesome. What a wild ride.
It's been crazy.
Yeah. I know one of the big things that we bonded over was we're both very young entrepreneurs.
So young.
And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like a lot of people in like our mentorship space are not old, but they're definitely like moms or like almost grandparents at this point, and we're just like, hey, we just graduated from college and we're newly engaged and we're married and now we're trying to figure out this whole entrepreneur space. So like for my audience tuning in, what were some of the biggest challenges for you getting started with this? Because did you end up working like a regular job after graduation, or did you jump right into business as well?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I thought about working a regular job. I thought I would, but my I was living with my husband, and luckily for me, like he was making a good income, right? He was making a good income, and so that kind of gave me the freedom to explore this realm of business and entrepreneurship a little bit more for myself. And so I just started kind of working right out of college. I got my first social media marketing client right in my senior year of college. It was a kind of a private flight school. Work with them and help them launch that flight school and get, new students enrolled. And that was super, super exciting. But I think it was really challenging at the same time because, taking a social media marketing course and then going out and doing it are two very, 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 very different things. And I'm sure Olivia can testify of that.
Yeah.
Those are very different things. And so I kind of thought I was an expert just because I had taken some courses and invested some money into learning these skills. But I quickly learned that I had a lot to continue to learn. And the other thing I struggle with, I was working with a team of, guys that were probably in their 30s, 40s, 50s. And here I was, 21 years old, and I was leading the charge for their social media initiative. And I felt very, very out of place. I had major imposter syndrome. There were times when I thought, why in the world would they listen to me? I don't even have a college degree yet. I don't even have any case studies or anything to show. But I think something I really took away from that is that it's okay to always be learning. But most importantly, if you show up with confidence, in your messaging and with the clients that you work for, you will gain so much respect. And that helped me a lot.
100%. Like, definitely one of my big takeaways was like, fake it till you make it. Like, you hear that thrown around a lot when you first get started, but it's so true. Like, having that false confidence turns into real confidence over time, for sure.
Yeah. And, the other thing too is that, I had a mentor help me understand this, but I always thought, because I'm so young, that no one was going to want to listen to me. But the thing is with social media, the fact of the matter is that younger people tend to gravitate toward it more and they tend to understand it a little bit more. And so a lot of businesses out there are actually looking for someone a little bit younger to help them with their social media and their marketing because they feel like someone in our age demographic is going to be able to help them a little bit more than someone who's a little bit older. So kind of reframing how I saw my age as more of like an asset than a liability was a huge mindset shift for me.
Yeah, no, that's key for anyone tuning in who's like in our age demographic, like working, even if you're older, like the experiences you have as an older person as well, like are experiences that like people our age don't have, and vice versa. Like we know a lot more about like the internet and digital marketing, whereas like people who are older don't understand that, and that is such like a huge thing for us. Is I think a lot of people are like, oh, I don't have anything in my resume, like I'm just graduating college, like nobody's gonna want to hire me. Like you'd be surprised. People love working with younger people because they have a different view. Like they have a completely different viewpoint on stuff. So if you're feeling that imposter syndrome as well, like definitely like just scrape that out of your head. Like people are gonna want to work with you if you're younger for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're young, like just have the confidence to put yourself out there because, I've even seen people, younger than me and younger than Olivia, have massive success with social media. I had a friend, right at 18 that just, was making six figures because she acquired the clientele and she showed up with confidence. And so you just don't sell yourself short no matter your age.
Yeah, definitely don't sell yourself short at all. So you've made a shift from working with AG businesses to like what type of business are you working with now? Just kind of anyone that comes on your radar, or do you have like a specific clientele that you're working with for the ad strategy and stuff?
Yeah, so with ads specifically, I would definitely say I specialize more in e-commerce and then also helping kind of local businesses sell their products and services. I don't really do lead generation. I don't really, sell webinars or help coaches or things like that. So I'm definitely more on the product side of things. And I love, I'm a super, geek about, conversion analytics and optimizing, checkout pages and things like that. So that's kind of where I really enjoy working as of right now. So right now, I think I'm working with a women's fashion store. I'm working with an app company, several aviation companies, working with a restaurant. So I'm kind of all over the place when it comes to like industry, but I think I've definitely like niched down in a different way as far as like what services that I offer.
That's awesome. So where did you like learn ads? Because I know for me, like I still know nothing about ads, and I've been doing social media for so long. It's definitely a skill set that I think a lot of marketers overlook. So like where was like your first little dip into the ad space?
Oh man, yeah. So ads can be super scary just because when you start working with businesses, they usually expect you to be able to make a return on investment with their ad spend and then what they invest on you with ads. So it can be definitely high pressure in the beginning, um, as you're still learning. But what I did to get started is I actually took a Facebook ads course way back in 2017 with my friend in high school. It was a Ty Lopez course. Um, I think Ty Lopez is a fantastic kind of inspirational business and marketing figure. But his Facebook course was kind of all over the place. It was just some guy screen sharing his screen, and I was super, super overwhelmed, you guys. And so I kind of put Facebook ads on the back burner for a little bit because I was just too intimidated to work with them, right? And to lose money with them. But fast forward more to 2020, I started kind of doing them for myself. I got into drop shipping, and that kind of, got me familiarized with the platform and how to, set up campaigns and link the Facebook pixel and things like that. And so I just kind of played with a little bit of, extra money that I had to invest in my own learning. Um, and then I ended up taking a Facebook ads course by Rachel Peterson, and she was phenomenal. And she just really made a lot of pieces of the puzzle click for me that hadn't clicked before because she has a really kind of streamlined strategy that she talks about. And then if anyone wants a free resource, there is a gentleman on YouTube called Ben Heath. And Ben Heath releases Facebook ad tutorials almost weekly, and I have learned a lot from him as well. So Rachel Peterson, Ben Heath, Ty Lopez, go check out those names for education.
Yeah, those are going to be great resources for sure. I know Rachel, like one of her big starts was actually with Facebook ads as well. So yeah, definitely go check out all those resources. And I know from what I've heard, at least from like Kelly and like a bunch of other people who are good at Facebook ads, like I think it's definitely one of those things you have to play around with in order to actually fully understand it. Like you actually have to put some money into it to see like how it actually works. Like you can do all the research you want, but once you're like in there like playing around with like the different campaigns and stuff like that, that's how you can actually learn. So do you want to like talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I definitely recommend that you kind of get familiar with Facebook Ads Manager and just kind of how everything is set up before you start running ads. And a lot of people don't really understand how Facebook ads are even structured. So just to break it down, you have kind of your overarching level, which is called your campaign level. The campaign level is essentially where you set your goals for what you want to achieve from that campaign, whether you want to, bring traffic to your website, whether you want to, optimize your ad to actually get sales or to get leads. That's where you're going to decide that goal or that objective is in the campaign level. The campaign level is also a good place to set some budget constraints and just decide how much you're going to spend on that campaign per day. And then kind of below that campaign level, you have the ad set level. And the ad set level is essentially where you're going to decide on the audience that you're going to target. And so if you're a brand new business, just getting started with Facebook ads, I would definitely recommend that you just target kind of a broad audience. If you're a local business, just target, everyone in your local area. The ad set level is really cool because you can target people on a local level, on a national level, and even on an international level. So it can get really kind of complex really fast. There's a lot of cool features to take advantage of. You can also target people based on interest. So maybe if you're a cupcake business, for example, you could target people that have an interest in desserts or cupcakes or cooking, and try to get them into your shop. The thing I recommend to a lot of small businesses is to make sure that they don't go super crazy with their targeting at first, because the more general and the more broad you can make your audience in the beginning is usually better. Because crazy enough, like we would think, as marketers, as business owners, that we know our audience the best. But what I've learned is that Facebook and their algorithm and AI know our audience the best. And so it's really hard, but sometimes we just have to trust Facebook into making the best decisions for our ads, and going with a more cold and broad audience in the beginning. And then so once you establish kind of who you want to target in your ad set, then below your ad set you have what's called the ad level. And the ad level is essentially where you can test different ad copies, you can test different creatives, so pictures, videos, carousels, you can test different headlines. And the major takeaway I want to kind of emphasize here is that a lot of small businesses test like everything and anything. Like all in one ad set and all in one campaign, and they do it with a very, very small budget. And the thing to note there is that when you're setting up Facebook ads, you're kind of like a scientist, right? So you're kind of like setting up an experiment. And if you guys remember, from high school or middle school science class, like we were always taught to only change one variable at a time, right? Because if we change more than one variable, we're not going to know which variable actually produced those results.
Right.
And so the same thing really applies like with Facebook ads. When you're testing different images or you're testing different videos or headlines, I mean, just you can make, different ads you want to test, but only change one thing in each one. So for example, maybe you're testing, 3 different pictures, but all of your ad copies remain the same. And that way, when you're looking at your results, you can really have some conclusive evidence as to which picture was actually performing the best for you. So, I think kind of in a nutshell, when you're starting out with Facebook ads, keep your budget small just to kind of test and get accustomed to the platform. And then also just keep it simple, right? Just keep everything really simple. Just change one thing at a time. Keep your audience, pretty broad, and then just kind of go from there. Because when you start, overcomplicating things and selecting, too many options, that's kind of where it gets really messy. And that's where a lot of business owners tend to get confused and ultimately, waste money. So.
Yeah, a lot of businesses can definitely throw money down the drain very quickly if they're overdoing it. But oh my god, that was so much gold. You should definitely create a course or something for like a beginner's course to Facebook ads. Like, have you ever thought about doing something?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, it's so funny you bring that up, because I've been realizing there are a lot of small businesses out there that either want to do ads themselves, or they have a designated team member that is kind of over their social media or their marketing, and they just need that additional like little push, that little bump in their knowledge to be able to go out and run some of these really basic Facebook ad campaigns for themselves. So it's definitely something that I've been kind of thinking about in the back of my mind, and that I may create very soon. So I'm thinking about creating kind of a beginner Facebook ad course, or even possibly, a Facebook ad kind of mentorship where I mentor you for, 4 to 6 weeks. I just help you get started, get comfortable. And then like a little bird flying away from the nest, I kind of, set you loose and you go and you spread your wings and make the magic happen.
That would be such a good idea. Like, I think so many business owners would find that super valuable, because like one thing that I've realized the past few months, and I don't know if you've noticed this as well, I feel like done for you services for freelancers are really hard to find right now, because people either want like a person full-time on the team, or they want to hire someone for super cheap, and there's no like middle ground with people like you who understand Facebook ads like really in depth, or me who understands like content marketing super in depth. It's really hard to find the right people for our services. But a lot of business owners, now that there's a lot of AI out there, are trying to take it on their own. They're trying to do all this stuff on their own and like really systematize and optimize their business, so they're not hiring on too many people and they're just paying for softwares. So I think something like that would be super, super valuable, whether it's like a 6-week intensive or some sort of like boot camp where you can like get a bunch of people in and then just, teach them about Facebook ads, and then they have this whole other skill set that they never knew they really needed under their belt.
Yeah, and it's a super marketable skill set, because I see companies all the time posting more so for paid ads management than for organic social media management. And so I think there's definitely still a need in the market that hasn't been met yet. I will say, for any small business owner who's watching, to not be necessarily opposed to taking someone, whether it be a contractor or hiring someone in-house, for your social media marketing and for your Facebook ads, just because there is still a lot of overwhelm in the beginning, especially if you don't have that expert guidance, that's there for you. So I definitely would consider that, because there is a certain value that an actual person brings, right?
Yeah.
A person will, AI will never be able to replace people, and what we can do. And so I think that's a very important thing to recognize, is that, harness AI to its fullest potential, learn about AI, but that human element is just indispensable. So
Yeah, 100%. It's also so new that you can only get a certain amount of like outputs whenever you put something into like ChatGPT or Jasper. It's very like baseline, and unless you train it for like weeks and like have certain like inputs that like you're looking for and you know how to use
yeah.
it, like just paying for the software, and then it's just like, give me 5 content ideas for my social media marketing business, and it just gives you 5 generic ones. Like, you got to start training it a little bit more. But I definitely agree. I don't think human jobs, like I think some jobs are definitely going to be taken over like a little bit more, but I think a lot of the stuff, like especially in the marketing realm, if you know your skill set, or if you're a freelancer and you're really good at your skill, you understand the strategy more than AI ever will. Like, AI is going to give you the base level stuff, and it's going to, I always like to say, it helps you with the creativity. If you're having like a creative block, it helps you get some ideas flowing, but it's never going to give you 100% of the strategy for a business. So yeah, definitely take it with a grain of salt right now, but if you're not using it, highly recommend.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah. Start
No,
streamlining your business.
and I think that brings up like a really good point, right? Because like strategy and like just content generation are not the same thing, right? They're related, but not the same, because you can post content to social media every single day. You can have ads running, all the time. But if there's no strategy and no goals behind it, I think you're definitely missing out on an opportunity. And the thing with us freelancers and contractors is that I think we really help bridge that gap, because we bring a lot of strategy to the table, and that's probably why our prices can reflect that sometimes, is because we bring so much expertise. Everything we do for your business is not just to post, right? That's what I tell business owners. And my goal is not to post. My goal is to post like with the intention of, driving traffic or getting you sales or building your business. And so I think it's really important just to make sure that everything we do is tied back to those essential objectives.
Right. I think so many people get on social media and they're like, oh, I'm just going to post, 3 times per day. Like, I don't really care what the content looks like. I'm just going to put it out there so that I'm visible. And it's like, that's great. Like, that can definitely rack up the views and get people like seeing you. But what's actually going to convert people into clients is like the strategy behind it. Like, what are your actual goals for your business? Are you trying to get more sales? Are you trying to just build up your following right now? Like, what are you actually trying to do? And I think that so many business owners get on social media and they overlook that. They overlook that factor. That's super, super important. Like, you can go on Canva and create,
yeah, hundreds of stuff.
You could even use AI to create short form videos now. Like, the possibilities are endless, but if you don't have a strategy behind it, like, it's never going to actually move the needle in your business. And it's just going to be a waste of time on your part.
Yeah. No, 100% agree. And I think like before you like go into your marketing plan and thinking about oh, I need social media and oh, I need Facebook ads, because I feel like especially at the beginning of the year or the beginning of a quarter, a lot of business owners panic and they think, oh my gosh, I need social media, I need an email list, I need YouTube content, and I need Facebook ads and all this stuff, and they get super overwhelmed. And sometimes I see people and they try to just like do everything all at once, but there's zero strategy behind it. And so
Yeah.
I think that can be really detrimental, especially, when you're starting to run ads and you're actually putting money behind this content. When you walk into this and you are not in a place in your business, either, financially or with your time that you can devote to this, it's going to be really detrimental. And I think that's why a lot of business owners end up wasting money on ads, is because they get into it too early and they think that running ads and posting on social media are going to solve all of their problems and magically bring in, hundreds and thousands of customers into their doors or onto their website. And that's just not true, right? And I know Olivia knows this, like it's a long-term strategy, right? There are quick wins with social media. Maybe a post will go viral, an ad will get tons of engagement, but overall, like if you want immediate results, you're going to have a crazy budget to back that. So just be careful with that.
Yeah, it's definitely not an immediate thing. Like, as someone who went viral very early on in my career, like, I can confidently say, like, there's short-term wins. And, like, for anyone who's listening who's trying to build up your business, I highly recommend focusing on your product before you really start getting into social media and trying to market it. Because I had no product when I first started out, and I went viral on social media, but I didn't have anything to sell. I didn't have, like, services to sell. I was just doing affiliate marketing, and I was offering other people's products. Like, I didn't have anything on my end. And now that I'm switching my business around, like, I'm basically starting from square zero. Like, my current audience doesn't reflect who I actually want to be selling to. So that's like another big key factor, is like figure out what you actually want to be doing and who you actually want to be selling to. Back at the beginning of this year, I was working with a startup company, and should have been a red flag right when I started.
Oh no.
But they basically told me, we want to start posting content like Gary Vee.
Oh.
And I was like,
yikes.
What do you mean? Like the style? Like, they're like, no, the output. Like, we want to be putting like, they want to be putting 5 things on social media per day, like on TikTok and like all this stuff. And I was like, you do realize that like your product isn't even there yet. They were like a startup company for, I think it was like a dog brand for some sort of like AI tool with the dog. I don't know, like talking back and forth with the dog. It was a really cool concept, but they didn't even have the product yet. And we started getting on social media, and it just wasn't working. It wasn't converting because they didn't have anything to sell yet. So it was just like all these baseline videos, like, regular content that you'd see out on the internet. It wasn't going to sell anything. And then a month and a half later, they ended up like canceling the contract because they were like, oh, this isn't working. And I'm like, of course it's not working. Like, you don't have anything to
There's
sell
nothing
right
there.
So that's another big thing, is like, just make sure you have something to sell. It doesn't have to be like the signature program or like this, giant thing right away, but make sure it's something, because otherwise your efforts of posting on social media, like, they're not really going to pay off. And you got to remember it's a long-term game too.
And I would say too, like with the e-commerce market and kind of product market, I think it can be beneficial to like start building an audience when you have at least a product in mind that you're going to release. Or I have heard a lot of business owners also talk about getting on social media and just kind of testing the waters to see if there would be an interest in their new product or service. So I think that's a good strategy to follow. But I think Olivia brings up a good point. Like, you don't want to invest tons of time and money and resources into that content creation, into that strategy, if you're not very clear on where you want to end up. But I do think like social media can be a good place to kind of like test different things, test different products, test different ideas. But I will say the key with that is to make sure that you're not spending a lot of money with it, right? Because the best products and services out there are going to go viral and get the engagement that they deserve, because they are entering the market at the right time and the right place to the right audience, right? And so they're going to do well by themselves. You shouldn't have to put a big budget behind it in the beginning.
Right. If the product is already converting, then that's when you should throw money behind it. Don't be like, oh my God, Facebook ads are going to be a lifeblood of my business. This is my saving grace right here. Like, don't do that.
Yeah, and I so many businesses, like when they're just releasing a product or just starting out, they immediately like contact me for Facebook ads. And I get like really wary, because that can be a great time in your business to start bringing awareness to your product or drive traffic to your website. But it's definitely not a time where you're probably going to generate a lot of sales, and get a good ROI on your ad spend. And so I think, when you're ready to start seriously investing in Facebook ads, make sure that you already have existing business that you're generating elsewhere. And also make sure that when you set aside a budget for Facebook ads, that you are fully aware that you may lose that entire budget and you may not generate a single sale. And that is just kind of how it can work in the beginning. But how I always kind of help clients see that is to reframe that and not see it as a loss so much, but see it as an investment into data generation, right? Because maybe you lost $1,000 of Facebook ads, but you gain $1,000 worth of data that you can then go back, send to your team. Maybe you need to refine your product and then bring it back out to market, put more money behind it, and you'll be better prepared and more educated this time. So I will say though too, like if you're just starting out with Facebook ads, it's okay to, be spending $5 a day on, awareness and traffic campaigns and things like that. But if you want like serious growth and scalability in your business, you better like bare minimum, like rock bottom, be spending at least $1,000 a month on ads. And that's like at the lowest of the low end. Because most businesses, when they're at that scalability stage, they're spending $5,000, $10,000, sometimes even a day on their ad campaign. So it is very expensive, but it can generate insane results at the right time.
Yeah, I think that's like what you just said those past like 30 seconds, like highlight of this whole conversation.
Ding, ding.
Like
ding, ding.
so many factors that go into place. Don't look at all the big brands and be like, oh my god, they're making so much money using ads, because they have the budget for that. They have millions of dollars to put towards their marketing efforts that they're spending every single month. So don't get discouraged when like things don't work right away. Like you got to be testing stuff at a way lower scale first.
Yeah, amen. And I think like, because you mentioned like the Gary Vee example, like a lot of businesses like get caught up in these big brands and they want to be like these big brands like overnight. But I think it's like important to just like be transparent, like as marketers, and say that, people like Gary Vee or like Ty Lopez, they have like entire social media and marketing teams behind them, of like dozens of people. They have full-time employees. And so that's just not reasonable to expect from like one or two people, especially, if you have someone in your office that's helping you with social media, like on top of their daily responsibilities. It's just not feasible. And so I think just like setting realistic goals is really important. And just, spending $5 a day, on Facebook ads is fine. And even just like posting 3 times a week on Instagram is fine. Like that's great. If you're posting high quality content and you're being consistent, that's awesome. Like you don't need to post 3 to 5 times a day to see results and to start driving traffic.
Yeah, for sure. The biggest thing is just like understand who you're talking to. Understand who your ideal customer and client actually is. Don't just market to the masses, which is a huge problem in this marketing world. Is like business owners get on social media and they're like, I help you make money online. Who do you help make money online? Is it like stay-at-home moms? Like what are these moms doing? Like who is your ideal like customer and client? Because that's what's really going to drive conversions with all of the content you're putting out there. Like you could be super consistent posting on social media every single day. You could be putting hundreds of thousands of dollars behind ads if you wanted to, but like nothing is going to convert if you don't know who you're talking to.
Yeah, amen. And I think like investing early on into figuring out who your target audience is, and even like doing some research like with your existing customers and asking them like, what was it about us that you liked? Like what was it, like how did you find out about us? Or where did you first hear about us? Those can be like really important like data points to gather in the beginning.
Yeah, for sure. So we had someone on here ask about becoming a pilot. So I was wondering if you wanted to like, I know it's completely 180 degrees change of topic, but
yeah,
if you want to touch on that, that'd be really cool. I'm kind of
it's it is like the most commonly asked question I think I get on social media. So just to be like transparent, I'm not a commercial airline pilot. That is not how I make my income. That is what my husband does. My husband is a commercial airline pilot. He flies for FedEx, so he flies those white boxes all over the world. And he has been in aviation for his entire life. And so I just got into aviation, really only like 2 or 3 years ago. And so I am just what's called like a general aviation pilot. where I basically just fly for recreation. So my husband and I have a small Cessna 150, which is like a really small single engine trainer plane that we own, that we fixed up. And so he actually has his instructor rating. And so he has been teaching me in there. And then sometimes I go up and I take it up by myself and go on a little joyride and have fun in that. So like becoming a pilot can mean so many different things, whether you want to do it for fun or you want to, do it for a career. I will say if you are interested in becoming a pilot as a career choice, which is a really good career move, because pilots are getting huge increases in pay and salary. Definitely send me a DM on Instagram and I'll connect you with my husband, because he actually offers aviation mentoring to aspiring pilots. And he will walk you through exactly, the roadblocks that you may have and how to get over them. And he will kind of walk you through, how to get through your training as fast as possible. And then I see another question pop in. It says, what aircraft is your husband type rated on with FedEx? So my husband is on the 777 or the 777. And yeah, he flies all over the world, just about to every continent except for Antarctica. But he got started in aviation when he was 16, and he is 29 years old now. So, it's been like a 13-year journey. He's got 5,000 flight hours. So he knows his stuff. He is a pro. But there's a lot of just like what I call slogging it out with aviation, because most airlines are not going to hire you until you have at least 1,500 flight hours. And those can be very, very expensive to accumulate. So getting into aviation, fantastic lifestyle and pay. Just be aware of the initial investment that you have to put into it to get trained, because it can be, $100,000, even $200,000 to get through flight school and to get those hours.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it's steep, but if you're interested in becoming a pilot recreationally, kind of like how I am, it can be a lot more affordable. There are schools that do it from $10,000 to $15,000. They'll get you what's called your private pilot license or certificate, and that basically allows you to fly for recreation and not for pay. But that's a really fun rating or certificate to get, just to see if you even like aviation. So I would definitely recommend, if you have an interest, to go ahead and try to get that. And again, if you have questions on getting that particular training, go ahead and send me a DM and I'll connect you with my husband.
That's crazy. I didn't realize it was that expensive to get into.
It's expensive. Yeah, it's really, and that's what people don't really understand. It's a big deterrent for people. But it is like, if you do want to work for an airline, you will definitely make that money back. But you have to go all the way, right? You can't give up, halfway through your training.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure. So I noticed that on the form you filled out, you said something unique about me is that I also work as an aviation influencer on Instagram. So I do some influencer work over on TikTok, because that's where most of my following is. So what do you do for promo stuff? You get up on planes and stuff and film some videos, or
Yeah, so it kind of just started as a little vlog that I was doing online. I just started kind of photographing and videoing just what me and my husband were doing when it came to flying and aviation. So I just started kind of videoing my journey and learning how to fly. And then my husband and I really like to go to air shows and aviation events. And so we were able to, see some really cool planes, ride some really cool planes. We actually were able to ride on a World War II bomber. Yeah, we rode in a World War II bomber here in Utah last summer, and it was like the ride of a lifetime. It was a B-17 bomber. And it was really cool just because I had a great grandpa who was a bombardier in World War II. And so it was really cool to be able to see kind of what he would have done and actually go up and and fly in that plane. So that was really cool. So we try to kind of promote things like that. And then I do some influencer work for aviation companies and local companies here in Utah that reach out to me. You know, I've done some stuff for the Commemorative Air Force, done some stuff for Halo Top Ice Cream.
Oh, cool.
So every now and then, you know, I do some influencer work and try to help promote brands when I can. But it's definitely more of like a side gig or kind of hobby for me than like a job or necessarily like a big income stream. But it is something I enjoy quite a bit.
Yeah, it's definitely very, very inconsistent, the whole influencer realm.
Mm-hmm.
I know like going into like Q4 is when a lot of businesses want that sort of content. So like at the end of the year, it's like raking in all the money, like, oh, promo deals
Ding
here,
ding
promo deal
ding ding
here.
ding ding.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it's like the new year, it's like dead silent until June because
Yeah.
nobody has the budget to work with influencers. So, but it's definitely a good thing to have on the side for sure. Like I've made like a few $1,000s here and there just doing 30-second TikTok promo videos for people. So for anyone tuning in, if you want a little side thing on top of like your freelance journey or like freelance marketing, whatever you're doing, like might not be a bad thing to get into influencer stuff. If you have a passion on the side, like aviation or like food or horticulture, it could literally be anything. Like you'd be surprised, a lot of brands pay a good amount of money for
Mm-hmm.
your content for sure.
Yeah, no, they really will. And what's really cool is like as you build up your following, you'll find that brands will start like reaching out to you. You know, if it's evident through your content that you know, are open to influencing opportunities and you know you're, you know, consistently posting and getting good engagement, that'll really entice them. And I would say that if you want to get started with it, just make sure that you have in your bio like some way to contact you. So I get most of my inquiries on Instagram, whether they be Instagram DMs or then I have my email in my bio. And I think I specifically say like for inquiries, like here's my email. And that is kind of like a hidden way, I feel like, to show people like you're open to opportunities.
Yeah, yeah, definitely have an email that you can put in your bio for sure. And
Mm-hmm.
like you said, you'll be surprised at how many people start reaching out to you when you're consistent with posting. And you could be posting on your personal brand too, and companies that you would never expect reach out to you, and they're in line with like your audience because you've talked about it a few times. Like I've had some dog companies
Whoa.
reach out to me, like, yeah, I'll totally do this because I love what, like I have a dog, so I showcase them in a lot of my content. So yeah, definitely if you have like a passion or something, it wouldn't hurt to look into it.
Yeah, and like you like you said, like you will be surprised, like the people that do reach out, like you mentioned dogs, and like I've had some different ones. Like I've had like a dental whitening company even reach out.
Dental planning
A
company.
dental whitening company, but they reached out because they saw in my bio I put that I was like located in Utah. They were specifically looking for Utah-based influencers, and that's how they found me. So, you know, if you want to get started, like an easy way, definitely like make sure you have your location or at least like your state in your bio, and that will help these companies when they're searching for you actually find you.
Yeah, that's a really good key right there.
Mm-hmm.
Have all these like different keywords in your bio, and that's true with anything. Like if you're looking for any sort of work, if you're looking for clients or anything in that realm, like make sure your bio is optimized with the keywords that you want to be searched for. Like I've had a bunch of people reach out to me about content marketing, and
Whoa.
I was mostly just doing social media stuff in the beginning, but in my bio, I have like content strategies, and people specifically search those keywords and you pop up. So put that sort of stuff in your bio, you guys. You never know.
Yeah, you seriously like never know. Put it in there.
Yeah. But
And the other, oh, sorry,
no,
go
go ahead,
ahead.
go ahead, go ahead.
I was thinking about this. I was like, because I know we mentioned like being consistent. And so when I first started my Instagram, like I was super consistent and like I was able to take it from 150 followers to like 20,000 in less than a year, like all organically. And that was like from posting consistently. But now like I don't post quite as consistently, but I try to make sure like whenever I post, like I post something that's like really cool, right? Like I post like, you know, I got to ride in this vintage plane, or, you know, I got to go and, you know, take a plane ride over the mountains, or just really, really cool things that really, really resonate with like the audience that I've built. And I know my audience like really resonates with aviation. And so, yeah, I was like in the beginning, like just try to post as frequently as you can and figure out like what your audience likes. And even ask them in the story, you know, what about my content do you like? What do you want to see more of? And that'll kind of help you like establish like, you know, a persona, of like a target persona of, you know, what your typical follower looks like. And that'll really, you know, help you too when you're wanting to get into the kind of these UGC and like influencer marketing partnerships, because you'll kind of have like an established look and feel and like content style that'll resonate with these brands.
Yeah, that's gold right there. That's 100% true. Yeah. Yeah. I noticed like when I first started posting on Instagram, I had no brand structure at all. And like even to this day, I'm still trying to figure it out, because that's like that's an area of marketing that I can confidently say I am not good at. Like graphic design and like just branding aesthetics, not my forte. So if you can figure that out in the beginning, definitely do that, because for me, I'm still trying to figure it out 2 years later. But like your page looks really good. Like
Oh,
yours is
thank
very
you.
like aesthetic.
Yeah, and like the reason why I've done that is because if you look at other people, other people in your niche of like, you know, what kind of content you want to start putting out. Like for me, it was aviation. But I looked at a lot of other aviation influencers had very like aesthetic and like very like cohesive looking feeds. And that was what was attracting a lot of followers. And so I realized I needed to kind of replicate that style in my content, because that's what was working like for my industry and for my niche. But it's crazy because I do have like some clients out there, and like I do not post like things that are super aesthetic for them. You know, and maybe their branding isn't like super like, you know, fine tuned or whatever. But it's really interesting because, you know, in some industries, like you don't need to be super aesthetic, or you don't need to be like, you know, you don't need to have the same color in every single post, because, you know, sometimes, you know, different styles of content, like reels especially, you know, don't necessarily have to be super aesthetic to get a lot of reach and engagement. And I've grown like, you know, client Instagram accounts without, you know, thinking too much about how it looks, just by, you know, focusing on high quality content. So like branding and aesthetics, like very important, but just like make sure you look at what other people are doing in your industry and kind of see if you can spot any trends.
Yeah, that's definitely a good pointer right there. Because that's how I've been trying to like do a lot of my branding recently. It's like, oh, I really like how X, Y, and Z does this. I'm gonna try and implement that into mine a little bit, because, well, just not there. I am not a graphic designer by any means. I'll pull up all the Canva templates and be like,
Yeah, Canva for the
win.
Canva for the win, you guys.
Yeah.
Canva Pro, it's worth it.
I don't even use Canva Pro, but I guess I probably should. It's
Cool.
my graphic designer that bad.
Yeah, Canva in general is just awesome. Like it'll take you from zero to hero with graphics.
True. So, someone asked, Ariel, did you take any specific courses when you started out? So I know you mentioned that in the beginning of the video.
Yeah, so I took Ty Lopez's course back in like 2017, and then I took an updated version of his course in 2020. But I think he's great for like introducing you to the industry and just kind of, you know, getting you to think about things a little bit differently. But as far as like day-to-day strategy and execution, I wouldn't really recommend him. I definitely would look at Ben Heath as a free resource on YouTube, or look at I think Rachel Peterson still has a Facebook ads course that is pretty good, and hers is more like strategy based, and she made it that way so that it'll like withstand the test of time, because Facebook ads change so often. So she offers basic strategy, and then hopefully I will be releasing a Facebook ads course soon, or at least some kind of Facebook mentorship.
Yeah, you definitely should. Yeah, even if it's just like a thing like that. Like, you know, people pay like, I don't know, $19 a month, and or $47 a month, and then like they're into your world, and you can like run a Facebook group. Like definitely look at what Kelly has, because she has something pretty solid that she set up, and she does like monthly calls. But
yeah, you guys, Kelly, like let's see, Kelli, like Sturdivant. She does Facebook ad training, and she has some courses out there which are really good. Definitely. So if you're like a coach or service provider, she's definitely like your gal. Because I'm more in like the e-commerce, the local market, product-based kind of realm of things. So just yeah, make sure you understand what you're selling so you can find the appropriate resource. But the other thing that like people really need, I think, with Facebook ads is like one-on-one trainings. Like they need to just hop on a Zoom call and just share their screen and just talk about questions. Because you can take these Facebook ad courses, you can watch the news and see what's new, but at the end of the day, like sometimes you just need someone to like actually like get on the computer with you and like walk you through it.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I'm going to try to offer in my new like mentorship or course, is that one-on-one support, because I think it's just so important in the beginning. And you guys, I wish like I could have had it in the beginning. I think my Facebook ads journey could have been so much more accelerated if I just had someone that I could go to and ask these designated questions to. Would have been so nice.
Yeah. So if you need some one-on-one hands-on support, make sure you give Ariel a follow. We're coming up with something very soon with that. The last thing I wanted to talk about with you was I noticed that you got the verification mark on So
yeah.
I'm wondering if you saw any difference with that, because I've been going back and forth on whether I should or I shouldn't. But then I was like, oh, it's $15 a month. Like that doesn't sound like a lot, but it still is.
It adds up.
Yeah.
So it is like, it's such a weird thing that like you can pay like for that verification badge. And it's really weird because, I was eligible for verification from Instagram for probably like over 6 months now. And I've applied for it, every single month, and every single month I would get rejected. And so the reason why I got it was, one, just to kind of test it out, because I have a lot of people asking me about it. So I'm testing it. The other thing I like about it is that it does, I feel like, add a lot of credibility to you and to your account. Especially, when you're just doing simple things like commenting on other people's posts. When they see you with the blue check mark, I feel like it's more incentivizing for them to actually go to your profile and see, ooh, this person has the blue check. Like, what are they all about? So there's like that status behind it, which, we might see go away soon. Like if this becomes too saturated and too many people get the blue check, it might not mean anything anymore. And the other reason why I got it is because with the blue check, you get specialized support from Meta. So if you were to, lose access to your account, or if someone were to hack your account, or there was some glitch, like you can, get on the phone with somebody a lot faster than if you didn't have the blue check. So I manage a lot of other Instagram accounts for other people. And it's because, I do generate some income from my own account. Like I just want to make sure that I have that protection built in. But I haven't had an opportunity yet where I need to access the one-on-one support for anything Instagram related. So I have yet to test that out. So I'll have to kind of let you guys know and just tell you guys to stay tuned for that. But if you want to try it, like I think it's fine to try. Like I haven't noticed anything bad, happen because of it.
Yeah, no increase in like engagement or anything like that. I've heard that's a big rumor going around.
No increase in engagement. I have noticed like a follower bump just from like, commenting on other people's stuff, which is kind of interesting because I haven't honestly posted some like, really cool like aviation content in a little while here. But I mean, yeah, so like getting me some followers on the side from that, I think has been nice.
I think we had a question come in. Do they still have the blue check mark chat where you can talk to other blue check marks? I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing either. I've never heard about that. So I will have to look into that and see if that's a thing.
Interesting.
But yeah, unfamiliar to me.
Well, it was so great having you on. I think we're just about wrapping up time here. I'm going to quickly scroll and see if we have any other questions. Someone asked what aviation books you suggest for a CPL student.
A CPL student. So I was going to show it to you on my bookshelf, but I realized I'm letting someone borrow it. But if you like reading, there is a gentleman named Rod Machado, and he is really, really funny. He's been in the aviation industry for decades, and he writes really comprehensive books on, being a student pilot and getting your private, getting your instrument rating. Just really comprehensive books on that. And if you're a CPL student, you're trying to get your commercial, even his private pilot one is so comprehensive. Like if you read that, you will be prepared for whatever your commercial rating entails. The other thing too is that sometimes, like, I know I'm a very visual learner. I just like videos more. Maybe that's why I'm on TikTok too much. I like videos.
That's a fact, though.
I know, it's like I love like how you can learn something in 20 seconds on TikTok. Yeah, so I love videos, and there is another course called Gold Seal, and they make aviation videos, and they have video courses that will get you through just about all of your ratings, and I really like their video style, so recommend you go check that out as well.
Awesome. Well, this has been an amazing chat. Probably one of my favorites that I've hopped on. Like, so all the information about social media and Facebook and aviation all over the place. I love it. So for anyone who's from my audience tuning in, or even from your audience and they don't know where else to find you, where can they find you on social media? Do you have any like links you want people to check out?
Yeah, so I have a Stand Store link that I should have on my Instagram. I'll go ahead and put that up there if you guys want to check it out. I have a couple free resources there. And then go ahead, give me a follow at from.the, like THE dot Ariel, my name, ARIEL.view on Instagram. That's where you'll see me the most. I'm also on TikTok at From the Ariel View without any dots between the words. And then my husband, if you're interested in aviation, my husband has a really cool aviation channel called Flight, like FLIGHT Line Media. And he posts some really cool aviation historical videos. And he recently had a video go viral. So I would definitely like check him out, check his content out if you're into aviation. I think he'd really like it.
I like the husband plug.
I know he like doesn't even know I'm doing this, but I love you.
Well, it was so great chatting with you, and anytime you want to hop on a live, like let me know and we can talk more in depth about any sort of topic we talk about today. But, yeah, thank you so much, Ariel.
No, thank you, Olivia, and thanks to everyone who is watching. Hope you guys take care.
Yeah, have a good Monday. Bye.